Some very interesting breaking news today as Eli Lilly has filed 3 separate lawsuits against different versions of tirzepatide on the market. I'm going to take a look at the 3 different companies that Eli Lilly is suing and how this impacts their future legal strategy or potential strategy as it relates to the flurry of cease and desist letters that were sent out about a week, 10 days ago. And is this related or is it not? So let's take a deeper look here. We've got 3 companies that are being sued here. We have a research grade peptide company, we have a telemedicine company, and a med spa. Let's first take a look at the company that's being sued, which is a med spa. Now, the med spa is being sued over offering a compounded version of tirzepatide where they were adding B12. Now, this is a particularly interesting strategy on Eli Lilly's part. Why? Well, because many of the compound pharmacies that are out there right now, once tirzepatide was removed from the shortage list, said, no big deal, we'll just continue our 503A versions where we're literally compounding tirzepatide plus something else like B12 or L-carnitine. That, in Eli Lilly's estimation, is tantamount to unproven and untested versions of tirzepatide that could potentially be harmful or dangerous to patients. Now, the interesting argument that I've always seen with these versions of tirzepatide is that those things can be given in addition to the branded medication. In other words, you can get a prescription for a B12 injection or a sublingual B12 or B12 in some other form. The argument for combining the two is where I've always wondered, how does that actually circumvent the patent? In this case, Lilly's going after a med spa, a Genesis med spa, that was offering this version of tirzepatide. So that could sort of telegraph in the future to other compounded pharmacies or telehealth companies that are offering the tirzepatide plus whatever, that Lilly will fight that. Now, the other one was a research grade company that was previously a recipient of a cease and desist letter. And the interesting thing here is that I think this sort of telegraphs Lilly's willingness to put teeth behind some of the cease and desist letters that they've sent out. Now, if you're not familiar with research grade, that's probably good. But the research grade is the gray market area of peptides in general, where they sell peptides that are not for human consumption, knowing full well that that is exactly how people will use them. We've steered people away from these now for almost 2 years at On the Pen. But of course, once Eli Lilly had tirzepatide removed from the shortage list about 2 or 3 weeks ago, you saw a flurry of internet folks that went immediately to the research grade route. So I think this is Lilly's willingness to go after the research grade companies. I think you're also noticing that they're going after smaller targets to maybe send a message rather than going after many targets or picking one big target. They're going after these smaller companies that are less likely to defend themselves aggressively in these lawsuits. Now, the third one is maybe the most interesting one to me. This was a company that was already on my radar. It's called Mango RX. Mango RX is a telemedicine company, so with prescription, they were offering compounded versions of tirzepatide. Now, the interesting thing that they did is that they were offering oral formulations of tirzepatide, which are untested, unproven by the FDA. And they were rebranding it as their own. In other words, they had put it under this brand name called Trim. And I found that fascinating because they were literally, putting it under their own branding, taking intellectual property from Eli Lilly, putting it in a different presentation, and then branding it as their own. So you see sort of 3 different strategies going on here. You see that Eli Lilly is targeting smaller companies. You see them being willing to enforce previously sent cease and desist letters. And you see them going after versions of the medication that they see as untested and potentially dangerous to patients. So I think that courts will probably be rather partial to some of the allegations that Eli Lilly has made, perhaps setting some legal precedent that will change the landscape of telemedicine and the prescribing of compounded versions of tirzepatide. So this news today, while Lilly had mentioned that these lawsuits were likely to move forward regardless of what happened with the FDA shortage list, they believed that basically what was going on against their patents here were so egregious that they didn't really relate to the shortage list. These were coming regardless of what happened with that. Now, what we have yet to see this week, and it's early on a Monday, is whether or not Eli Lilly will be sending out any legal action or enforcement behind the cease and desist letters that were sent out last week to telemedicine companies and med spas, where they had until last Thursday to respond. So I think over the next 7 to 10 days, you might see increased legal action because, again, today's legal action was 100% not tied to the shortage list. The cease and desist letters that sent out about 10 days ago, those were directly related to the FDA shortage of tirzepatide, specifically mentioning the removal of tirzepatide from the shortage list in those cease and desist letters. So that's today's update. There's a lot more brewing here, so you got to make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to stay in touch with all the updates. Of course, we've got a full blog article that breaks this all down at onthepen.com where you can sign up for email alerts. We hope you do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being the best part of On the Pen, and we'll catch you on the next one.